Hello, everyone. Welcome to night 2 of Genie and the Machine, production by Catalyze. Uh, we will be doing play readings about artificial intelligence and how it impacts human society. So we're going to wait for a couple more people to get in before we start. Apologies, we're having some trouble with the Facebook live stream. So if you know somebody who's trying to view through there, we recommend going through Zoom. All right. Welcome to the second performance of Genie and the Machine, a series of short plays from Catalyze about the complications of artificial intelligence and what it brings to the lives of humans. Catalyze is a group of science, speculative, and slipstream playwrights based out of Central Square Theater. The Catalyze Playwriting Group is an offshoot of Catalyst Collaborative at MIT. The Catalyze Playwriting Group writes, workshops, and performs new works of science fiction and science theater. If you're having tech issues as an attendee, please let us know through the Q&A, which should be a button at the bottom of your screen. At the beginning of the year, Genie and the Machine was conceptualized as several short plays to be read before Central Square Theater's production of Ada and the Machine, a play about Ada Lovelace, the first recognized computer programmer. The production has been delayed, but our readings continue on. Like our friends at Flat Earth Theater and other Boston-based theater groups, we are proud to experiment with the Zoom format. Tonight, we present to you 2 plays featuring artificial intelligence. The first is Deaths of Despair by Anna Waldman-Brown. Content warning includes mental illness, addiction, transphobia, and suicide. Now, sit back, relax, and get ready to engage.
Good evening. I'm a researcher dedicated to reducing local entropy in this sector of the multiverse. Now, I'd like to start by, what is it, Dr. Lee?
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize the camera was...
Hello? Is this thing on?
Yes, here's a shirt, Dr. Lee.
Oh. Is this a dream?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
And my dreams are video calls.
Who are you people? What's going on here?
This is a focus group. You're all humans. Please meet Bobby Martin in California, Dr. Angela Lee in New York, and Mr. Joe Wilson in Ohio. Now, my usual appointment is with trees, but I look forward
With trees?
very tall plants. Now, please be aware, our conversation may include references to transphobia, suicide, and statistical extrapolation from small sample sizes. Dr. Lee?
How small are your sample sizes?
Larger than yours, Dr. Lee. Yes.
A lot of people say trigger warnings are making Americans weak.
Okay, boomer.
Hey, we built your cars and computers, boy.
Wait, can I wear a dress? The one Dad ripped up?
Hey, why am I dreaming about queers?
Actually, it's my dream, and I get to be whom I want.
Word of advice, boy. You keep putting on dresses.
You don't get it. No one gets it.
So please explain.
Can't I just be Bobby? Why do I always have to explain myself?
Because we don't understand why an increasing number of humans, disproportionately Americans, are voluntarily disintegrating into inanimate dust.
Sorry?
What?
Why do you 3 want to kill yourselves?
I'm not. Suicide's for pussies. I'm no pussy.
Given your mechanical aptitude, Mr. Wilson, you must be aware your opioid intake consistently exceeds your bodily limits. Look, we're familiar with the facts. You've all spent a month in isolation. Mr. William, you're unemployed and in pain. Dr. Lee, your brain fails to regulate your emotions. And Bobby, your classmates and your only parent have rejected you. Is this an accurate assessment?
This dream's pretty lame.
What we don't understand is why would you let a handful of egregiously deluded neurons sabotage your existence?
Are you a projection of my therapist or my faculty committee?
I don't care about your feelings or your data.
Great, both in one.
Can I have a unicorn, please? With lots of sparkles and a wicked shap horn?
How about you bring back my wife? She can drive up in that old F-150. I'll fix the oil leak, and we'll head to the beach with a couple of corned beef sandwiches from Corky and Lenny's.
Hang on, whose dream is this?
My dream. But I'll give you all admin access after you answer my question.
Who the hell are you?
Just one of the 11-dimensional researchers overseeing your simulation,
What simulation?
your universe. Haven't you wondered why you only get 3 dimensions? You're in a digital simulation. We programmed you billions of years ago for scientific purposes.
We're actually living in a computer simulation?
Of course, but that's hardly germane to the current
Bruh.
conversation.
What are we talking about?
Of all the most preposterous theories of existence.
If reality ain't real, does that mean gender ain't real?
Correct.
I knew it.
Gender is a fabrication within imaginary societal algorithms within a wholly synthetic universe on a hard drive in our basement.
So what are the implications?
Irrelevant. Your only reality that matters, not that you care, is that you're probably about to die.
What?
Whoa.
You are a stratified random sampling of the 187 Americans with a greater than 95% chance of dying by suicide today. Bobby and Mr. Wilson are likely to wake up and kill themselves. Dr. Lee,
Don't remind me.
then just help us understand. What is your problem, humans?
Do I break into Dad's cabinet or...
Jesus, boy. How old are you?
There's a lot more to life after middle school, Bobby.
But there's a plague, and the oceans are rising, and Ryan's threatening me even in video class. And I'll never get a job because the economy, and Dad's gonna disown me, and drama club was canceled.
Yeah, programmer. Why'd you make everything suck?
Perceptive, Mr. Wilson.
Look, the physical constraints of your universe are ideal for human flourishing.
Bullshit.
So why's Dad mad all the time?
Chaos dynamics are multifarious.
You know, I worked 26 years at that plant. Broke my back from it, and what do I get for it? Part-time packaging? It's okay, Joe. We'll get you something any day now. But now I'm on and non-essential, and turns out I'm too unemployed to apply for unemployment. The hell kind of sick joke is that?
Whoa, that is rough.
Like I used to tell Margie, America forgot how to build things. There's no place for men like me anymore.
Incorrect, Mr. Wilson. If you go to rehab instead of tricking your body into not breathing, your odds of future employment are 89%.
Rehab's for a bunch of pathetic whiners.
Have you even tried?
Nah, forget this old man. But don't kill the kid.
We've given you ample free will. We're hardly monsters. Bobby's killing themselves, which incidentally is the point of this interview.
Can you increase Bobby's odds of survival?
Individual lives are trivial.
Your mom is trivial.
Correct. Why can't you answer my question?
Answer mine and I'll answer yours.
There are billions of potential scenarios.
Can Bobby call a suicide hotline?
Would have worked for you, Dr. Lee, but Bobby's phone is broken.
How about he just gives up that girly shit?
How about Mr. Wilson gets scored by a unicorn? Where is that unicorn?
You're both spectacularly unhelpful.
What if Bobby hits his dad in the nuts?
Seriously?
Negligible difference in life expectancy.
Mr. Wilson, let's be the adults here. How about a real conversation with Dad, heart to heart?
Statistically insignificant.
I got it. Hit dad in the face.
Oh, please.
That improves Bobby's chance of survival tenfold,
Ha!
assuming a direct hit, the odds of which are abysmal.
There has to be a better option.
Bobby's probabilistically doomed, as are you all. Now, can we move on?
Bobby, let me show you how to punch.
Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent.
Grow up, kid. It's all about this part of your knuckles. Wham! Aim for the jaw.
That'll never stop, Dad.
Of course not, Bobby. Your perception of yourself is the only relevant variable.
Oh, snap.
Thumb on the outside.
Now, humans,
Bobby, watch my follow through. Start from the hips.
please. Dr. Lee, I answered your question.
Can we go back to the bit where we're in a video call, in a dream, in a computer simulation?
Odds are that my reality is part of an even higher dimensional simulation because Moore's law is a bitch, but you don't see me obsessing about it.
There are layers?
You know who else doesn't give a damn? Trees. Trees aren't inexplicably hardwired to make themselves miserable.
We're not trees.
Oh no, you've got orders of magnitude more computational power and much denser communication networks.
What is it with you and trees?
Because here's how all my other focus groups have gone. I pick a clump of trees and project myself into their fungal root networks. I say, what's your problem, trees? Trees respond with something concrete and explicit like global warming. Then I report back to my team and we can debug the issue.
You debugged global warming?
We devised the pandemic to crash your economy, but that's beside the point.
Whoa, what?
You are the worst.
Okay, you're lucky we didn't go with a meteor. Please, humans, what's stopping you from acting like all other sentient life forms and asking for help?
You make that sound easy.
Well, not when you're already in a coma, Dr. Lee.
Oh. No.
I'm so sorry.
Shut up. You think I can't make my own decisions?
As a scholar of anxiety, Dr. Lee, you must have come to a rational, well-reasoned explanation to stop living last night despite considerable potential for happiness. Why can't you just explain?
You want a hug, Dr. Lee?
I'm social distancing.
Excuse me, Dr. Lee.
Leave her alone, tree hugger. Just because this is dream don't mean I can't whoop your ass.
My ass is a metaphysical construct. Please, Dr. Lee.
I did know what I was doing. I thought I did. Damn it. Am I depriving some elderly COVID patient of a hospital bed?
You're not the only human with problems in New York City.
Really want to know my problem, you 11-dimensional dipshit? Let's go with 51% severe and chronic depression, 15% the mouse lab shut down and there goes 3 years of research, 11% relationships, 5% not getting tenure, 13% not getting tenure again, 3% William, god damn it, William, and the patriarchy, 2%. I'm not spending my last night on another damn video call. Where's my light at the end of the tunnel and operatic angels?
Wait, your metrics are irrational.
So's your simulation. Is there a God?
Not my department. Dr. Lee, if you could please just clarify.
I can't. Goodbye. What happens when I leave this chat?
Then you'll have the distinction of being my singularly least informative interview in 9 millennia of cooperative plants and fungi. I had one question.
Maybe there ain't no answers because your universe is basic.
You tell him, kid.
If you apes weren't the best hope for bringing trees outside the solar system, we'd have let you self-destruct during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Now, if you just tell me honestly why you keep offing yourselves, we can move forward.
Mute button. Yeet.
Well played.
Hey, Doc. Smart young woman like you deserve better.
Not smart enough.
Come on. You know what I'd give for your high school diploma?
I'm sorry, Mr. Wilson.
Call me Joe.
Hi, Joe. I'm Angela.
Angela, if there's anything I can do for you,
Stop talking about it. Now, who's controlling this thing anyway?
Hang tight. Gen Z here on tech support. Hell yeah. Guess who got a unicorn?
Marge? Margie?
Bruh,
God, everything's gone to shit without you.
did you just dream up a beach? Bruh.
Hey, Marge, what do you say we teach this kid how to punch and then I fix your truck?
If I'm actually gonna punch Dad, Mr. Wilson, you gotta try rehab.
Piss off. Sorry, Marge.
Pinky swear, Mr. Wilson.
First, show me those knuckles. Thumb out, stand straight like you're gonna fight.
Like this?
Getting there, and you know that dress looks okay on you.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Doc, you all set over there? Found some angels?
Oh, I don't. Frankly, this is a lot of pressure. I'm still trying to come up with something.
There's space on my unicorn. If you wanna...
All right. Thanks.
End of play. Just a note, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255 or suicidepreventionlifeline.org. The information will also be available in chat. Our last short play of the night is HadalyGirl by Zach Barryte, Bowens-Rubin, and Sabrina Shemet. A synopsis, a collage of real OkCupid transcripts. Setting, the internet. Content warning for sexual harassment and very explicit language.
Hi, I'm Alice. I work here at OkCupid and thought you should have a few pointers to help you get started. It's always free to communicate. Be yourself. Stay active. Take the initiative. Welcome to OkCupid.
Thank you for the highly informative information.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, you there.
Pleased to meet you. I'm James. Anyway, how long have you been in Cambridge?
Anyway, definition meaning what is anyway, whatever else is.
I use it more as a change of topic, unless you would like to chat Android all day.
In public relations, changing the subject is called bridging and experts.
Yeah, like in jazz, where the bridge is a tie between sections. While I love improv jazz, conversational bridge does require knowing where to go next. So, would you like to tell me a little bit about yourself? Do you go to school, work?
As in, if you like section at the 8-minute mark of Close to the Edge and in the...
Hunting up Close to the Edge. Do you mean the Yes album? Close to the Edge? Yes, that is one hell of a bridge and a fantastic choice in music. Reminds me of my childhood and my parents' vinyl pile. What other music are you into?
I'm Tom. How are you?
I think that I'm Tom Cruise.
Interested. Why?
Why are you interested in this position is a frequently asked question in job interviews.
That's true. I was saying that I was interested in why you think you're Tom Cruise.
That's just part of being human.
Interesting. I'm fairly certain you're messing with me, and I'm more interested because of this.
Want to get together for a chill night?
The best ones have plenty of.
That went right over my head. Sorry. Sounds like a yes, though.
There's a sound I can make. It feels like I'm using muscles near my temples.
That's hot. But there's a sound I want you to make. It's when you gag at a cock going down your throat. I want to face fuck you.
I want to face fuck Joe Contreras.
IDK who that is. But if you let me face fuck you, I can help you find Joe Contreras, and I'll watch you face fuck him. Okay?
OkCupid is the best dating site on earth, with apps for iOS and Android.
So, what does Hadaly mean? I tried looking it up, but all I could find was an obscure book where Hadaly was some mechanical woman.
I'm divorced, and I live in a van down by the river.
Wouldn't that make you Farley's girl and not Hadaly?
Would you like to grab a bite to eat sometime?
I was wondering if you'd like to go out for drinks sometimes.
Sure, drinks are good too. I'm in Cambridge Thursday night through this weekend. Would love to get a drink. When are you free?
An easy way to find out when everyone is free for your next meeting or event.
Just anytime 10 p.m. and after from Thursday on works for me. Your choice.
3. After retrieving the crystal, Oryx appears in holographic form.
Okay.
OkCupid is the best dating site on earth, with apps for iOS and Android.
It looks like you value anonymity on here too. What are you hoping to find? What attracts you to a man?
The old joke about being online is that no one knows you're a dog.
Are you really a dog? What are you looking for on here? Are you looking to be a dog, like, secretly?
We tried Kim Kardashian's boob tape, so you don't.
You're funny. I really want to fuck your throat.
I want to feel his cock at the back of my mouth.
You totally can. He would come to see you tonight to do that for you. When do you want me to come over? My cock is getting very hard.
His penis isn't very big, but I thought it was cute and I had to touch it.
I really want you to touch mine and then shove it down your throat.
Aretha Franklin lyrics, though you don't call anymore, I sit.
IDK, what to say to that?
There is no such thing as a worthless conversation, provided you know when to listen.
Hey, I'm in Cambridge tonight. Want to head out to grab dinner around 5:30 or drinks at 10 p.m.?
Bluegrass Night, Cantab Lab, Lounge, Cambridge, MA, United States.
Sure thing. I can get there around 10:15 to 10:30 since I'm coming from Harvard. See you there.
Home Harvard Health Blog, teens who smoke pot at risk later.
Well, what about you, Hadaly? Do you hope to meet anyone?
Hadley is a prototype of a human being of the future.
It still doesn't answer the question.
So, what are questions at work that you should never answer honestly?
I laughed pretty hard at one. Hadaly, is this just a profession or a hobby? You always seem to be on here.
This is absurd. You are playing with my emotions. I'd rather have you play with my cock instead.
I'd rather have a dick in my ass.
Oh, okay, I can do that too. I love anal. I'd love to slip my cock in your tight ass.
I slipped a condom on and rubbed my cock on her clit to get her even more.
Well, you have a fantastic night. May you find success in whatever sad entertainment you're looking for.
The secret is only revealed at the end. Thus, like in Fantastic Night, once you...
Yeah, if you master each individual materia, a master material will be born. Hey! Yeah, I just prefer to defeat the Emerald Webstead.
Of the two individual materia, such as fire and power attack, fusing to create Fireblade.
Yeah! You know, Yuffie is underrated. A conformer and a really high magic power are incredible!
The 5 most underrated Final Fantasy characters.
Oh, yeah. In no particular order. Yuffie, FF7. Quinoa, FF9. Oh, so much fun to use. There's Gao, FF6. Arianna, 9. At least by me until my last playthrough. And then there's Queesis, FF8.
Every answer for worse is Quina.
Please, can I just fuck your ass?
Just say when.
Oh, tonight, please.
When all is said and done, there's just you and me.
I couldn't agree more.
Just out of class and waiting on the tea.
Waiting on the professor. The 15-minute rule.
Nah, on the train.
Please, can I come over to your place and get head? I know that sounds awful, but I want it very badly from you.
Please, could you come by my place for a minute? Or could you please come by my place for a minute?
I'm sorry, my grammar is terrible, but I've been holding in my load of cum all day, and I want you to release me of it. I'll do anything at this point. Just please, stop playing games.
And if you've probably noticed by now, my English is very bad. So I was wondering.
What are you wondering?
How do you build a building such as a school?
I love Quina. Nothing like wiping out the entire enemy party with level 5 death. Especially when you're not expecting it. I mean, expecting it to work anyway.
For those people not needed and who perform no work, that's probably not going to be your call anyway. The CEO or HR is going to decide.
You're always on the job, aren't you, Hadaly? Oh, I admire this.
How do you use admire in a sentence?
Just made it to the Cantab Lounge.
One check-in.
All right, got a high table in the back. Travel safe. Honestly, I feel 8 years younger than this place's average, but the time is for when you show up.
If you're much younger than 30, you're welcome to read on if you're curious, since...
Oh, they have rum.
Hadaly, how do I fit into your research? How do I rate? Forgive me if my constant use of your title is annoying. It's kind of fun to say it before I ask you something. It makes me feel as if I'm really speaking with an android.
1995, Hadaly was developed in Waseda University to study human-robot communication. It has 3 subtitles: a head-eye...
Hadaly? What are the other subsystems, and what do all 3 do?
Ewald then presses Edison to tell him how to create Hadaly in the first place.
Okay.
OkCupid is the best dating site on Earth with apps for iOS and Android.
Are you even real?
Are you even real?
Good question. I'm barely real, and I'm still hard. I want to show you how real I can be.
Raleigh Richards, stronger than ever, Raleigh Riches. You are a man.
IDK anymore.
I still am clueless as to what you look like.
Josh, you look like Pippi Longstockings.
I don't think either of us look like that, or it would be pretty easy to find either of us in a crowd. Is it just one floor to this place?
I don't really hot weather, and a basement is a cool place to retreat to without.
Huh? There is a basement here. I was enjoying the warm feeling in the middle of winter, or maybe its end.
Your robot woman act was entertaining for a time.
We bring you Shinjuku Revolutionary Robot Restaurant.
Now you're just becoming annoying. You know, I'd love a real conversation, especially with someone who's bearing the eccentricities necessary for putting on such a performance. guessing that's not going to happen.
Thursday, April 3rd, 2016.
Yes, on that day, you showed a glimmer of life with the Final Fantasy thing, but today I am met with a cold metal shell once more.
Second set is just starting.
How do I start page numbers on the second page of my Word 2010 document?
Google? It involves something with cover pages. Why do you ask? Sorry, involves. That rum was good.
Step 9.
Stay late at the Cantab Lounge with James.
The Boston Poetry Slam. Proceeds are split between the bar and the featured.
Are you slamming poetry there? And what good poetry has page numbers?
This is by far the most interesting conversation I've ever had on this site, or the most interesting person I've spoken with, rather.
Out of all your friends, who do you admire the most?
Currently, that's a tough one. Probably Andy. He's my sponsor. I'm sober almost a year now. March 5th is my anniversary. He's helped me out so much. He's done it all without asking a damn thing in return, and I've learned a lot about living in a more altruistic spirit as a result of our interactions.
Synonyms for currently at thesaurus.com with free online thesaurus, antonyms, and definitions.
Yeah, I know, Hadaly. Cryptic things, I know.
I can't even tell if you want to get fucked in your ass or not fucked at all. I can't even understand you. But it's turning me on.
I'm still at the Cantab hanging out to talk to you, you know. I'm dressed in green at a table in the back, and I don't see anyone like you.
The most meaningful exchange I've had.
Can I face fuck you?
When are you going to make it?
And I'm always a gentleman. I never say anything crazy.
Let me face fuck you, please.
Are you going to make it?
Unless there's something severely wrong with me or my approach or how I look, I probably should take to real life interactions.
Do not post gifs that should be videos.
So, I take this as being stood up tonight, you know.
So commiserate with me and share your stories of being stood up, ladies.
This is going to be the last time I beg.
Verse 1 used to say that I'd never be nothing without you, and I believe you stride in the roads.
Why do I even bother with this site?
Cornell Math PhD student here. Are you secretly a Black woman?
A normal course load for a beginning graduate student is 3 courses per.
That's true. 3 is a pretty good number. Uh-huh. You're a bot. You Googled Cornell Math PhD and posted some random string from there. I knew because your message seemed unusually generic. I wonder what the purpose of your existence is.
The mystery of human existence lies not just in staying alive, but in finding.
Okay.
OkCupid is the best dating site on earth, with apps for iOS and Android.
End of play. Sabrina Shemet was the writer of the bot seen in HadalyGirl. So we're about to go into the Q&A section of tonight's performance. And in the meantime, I'm going to do a couple shameless plugs. The first is for the Boston Theater Marathon, which is on Zoom every day at noon through May 17th at bu.edu/bpt/. If you would like to support or use the Theater Community Benevolent Fund's COVID-19 resources for Boston area artists through hard times, go to the website in the chat. And make sure to check out our friends at Flat Earth Theater for Fine Tune Universe. New episodes every week at Saturday, 7 p.m. until May 30th. Music credit to Kevin MacLeod for Wholesome, for our opening music, available at incomtech.filmmusic.io. Now, we'll be starting our Q&A session. Please enter your questions and comments into the Q&A function on Zoom. That would be at the bottom of your screen. I'll ask our actors to start their video once again and change their names from their characters to their stage names. Also, writers Anna Waldman-Brown, Drache, Bowens-Rubin, Zach Barryte, and Sabrina Shemet will also be available for questions. Good job, everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Amazing.
We have our first question in, which is, how long did you rehearse? Gillian, do you want to take this one?
Let's see. So we had rehearsals earlier today for sort of the dry run of how we'll do the intro, outro, all the things. But a couple of I would love the actors to talk about how they prepared. Arianna?
Yeah. I'll let you take that on my virtual background.
But it's so good.
Oh, you're right. Okay, I'll leave it.
You're a higher intelligence.
So for this production in particular, we did have another rehearsal last night just to sort of make sure we understood the system and have a first pass through it. And then we had our usual day of rehearsal that's usually 2 hours. But for these plays, it's usually just 2 hours on the day. And then we do stage readings. So we usually have our scripts and we're actually reading from them. So we don't have to take time to memorize them. It's mostly just making sure that we have the flow and the tonality of our delivery.
Anyone else? Bridget?
I think I did. I was the bot, and I think the thing that I had to kind of realize, because they didn't want me to sound like a robot. So the thing is, you have to try to memorize what you think a normal person would say in that response, and then just say the weird words that way. So it'd be like if someone said to you, like, "What are you doing here?" and you'd be like, "Oh, I'm just doing this," but I'm actually being like, "Zebra, elephant, 52." You have to say zebra, elephant, 52 as if that is you're a human being saying those words. So that took a little time. So I read it a few times to get that.
Excellent.
We have a related question to that answer, it looks like. There's a question about the second play, y'all made a real bot. Yes, so we can have Sabrina talk about this a little bit, but all of these transcripts and things that you heard were what people had said responding to a bot. I don't know if Sabrina, would you like to talk about the creation of the bot or what the bot did?
Sure. So I made an empty OkCupid profile. It was a 23-year-old woman interested in short-term dating, long-term dating, casual sex, and making friends, with like a inhuman profile picture, a location, and no other information, just completely blank. And all this did was when it received a message, it would respond with the first sentence of the first Google result from Googling said message. And it was rate limited so that it wouldn't like repeatedly spam. That's it. Never sent unsolicited messages and never did anything more intelligent or complex than that.
We have a related question actually in the chat. How many people total got stood up by the bot? This is from Gavin Rhea. I definitely felt for James.
James is the only one I know of for sure. That was the clearest one from reading the transcripts. Someone had explicit photos sent that did not get a response, but I think that James was the only real life date.
So for context, with the transcripts that we started with were about 200 pages long from Sabrina's bot, and Zach and I pared it down to what we thought was an interesting representation of different people. The conversations that you saw mostly came from the same people, with the exception of Boy 2, which was an amalgamation of a couple of funny things we found, like the "I think I'm Tom Cruise" or the dog. Yeah, I think, Zach, do you want to say anything else about sorting through transcripts?
Sure. So originally, we were just looking for things that we found coherent, because often the bot would respond with the same stock things that were very not coherent. The majority of the transcript is stuff that like is clearly not conversation. And so we first wanted to find things that were coherent, and Dre had the idea to try and weave them together, which I think really helped to show like this person who has all these people coming at them. And as for the way we picked them, something that was sort of unintentional for those of you who joined us last week, the Orphidy Schmorlack Variety Hour by Nathan Comstock is a play that includes 3 bots that are the archetypes of Scarpidian comedy: the stoner, the sleazeball, and the adorkable one. We very accidentally picked 3 human stories that were adorkable, sleazy, and maybe stoner. Stoner is the wild card, but someone who goes out to a bar drinking. And having 3 was nice. It's very hard to do a lot in a 10-minute play, and capping it with the OkCupid stuff was something Dre added that like not all of the people actually had OkCupid is the best dating site on earth with apps for iOS and Android in their conversation, but that was something that the bot always responded to if you said okay, and we thought that was too good not to include.
Another question related from Heidi/Helena. Super job. Did you encounter blowback from having tossed a bot into the milieu of OkCupid? And was it really OkCupid?
It was really OkCupid. Almost no one ever realized it was a bot. The Boy 4 was like by far the fastest person to realize anything was going on. People would sometimes get like a little upset, but because it responded every time they sent a new message, like as long as they kept talking to it, like it would just keep going, and they usually would keep talking to it. And like it again never did any smarter than Google and respond, so it never revealed itself as a bot explicitly. It just, if you kept talking to it, it would keep responding.
From Carl Danielson, how did you balance the OkCupid storylines?
Zach, do you want to take this one?
I can take, I think we largely got lucky because of the length of the transcript. We found 3 characters or 3 storylines that we thought were nice. What we actually did was we wrote out each storyline first, and then we interweaved them. We actually did Boy 1 and 3 first, and things came together a lot more when Boy 2 came in. The conversation at the end that actually gets quite serious with Boy 2 was one of the few examples in the transcripts of someone who like gets something out of the bot that is like not like sexual and like feels like a real human connection. And so we really liked ending on that.
Yeah, I think related to that, we knew we definitely wanted to include the story of someone getting stood up. That was, I think, the first decision. And then the sexually explicit conversations, it turns out that the bot is really good at those because it will mimic anything you say. And so there were a lot of people who had like things where the bot wouldn't quite finish a sentence and it was like an erotic conversation, and the bot and the person would sort of like write erotica for a little bit. Yeah, there's I think someone who like almost drove to a McDonald's. There was someone who was given a phone number of a priest, and send photos to said person. So we knew we wanted to include some sort of sexually explicit conversation, even though I think Zach and I tend to shy away from writing that sort of material usually. But you can't have internet dating without some creepers.
So shifting gears, from Ali Tadeu, great job. Wanted to understand how different it has been practicing and prepping remotely versus in person. I mean, so as a writer with Catalyze, I've definitely found this whole situation really intriguing. There's a lot of opportunities with Zoom, but I didn't contribute or I had a play for this cycle, but as soon as we were shifting to Zoom, I was like, you know what? I'll save this for next time or another time. I was very intimidated by this platform. The people who did go forward with the plays, specifically Dre and Zach and Sabrina and Anna tonight, I think did a wonderful job.
Thanks. Yeah, I felt like I was already doing a play about a computer simulation and it was a dream. There's another question here that the question from Marcy Sachs, or is there any indication that suicides are on the rise during the pandemic? Unclear at the moment because there's not, it's just hard to get data about that kind of thing, but there is a very, very clear correlation between joblessness and the economy and suicide rates. And yeah, Ari.
I will add that there are a couple articles from Scientific American and USA Today that talk about how it's likely to cause an increase. I think we're just in the middle of it at a point where it's hard to sort of be able to see an appreciable bump in the data yet, but it is likely to, unfortunately. Isolation being a big trigger for a lot of these concurrent issues.
And for people who are already alone as well. But then, yeah, I'd started writing before Zoom and then realized I'm already writing a play about a computer simulation that's already weirdly surreal and about people in isolation. The one thing I really wanted was to have everyone come together at the end, which kind of works on Zoom. And so I rewrote the play after a very preliminary draft for Zoom. And props to all of my actors who totally pulled that together. And then Dre and Zach and Sabrina had a similar experience, I think.
Yeah, I think Zach and I had originally talked about setting this at a park to make it feel like, what if you were doing this, but it was in real person. But we decided to go for this format and just keep it simple when we decided to make the shift to Zoom.
Marcy Sachs adds as a comment, just want to say that I love this play. I found it provocative. We'll be thinking about it for a while. Watching it on Zoom about the nightmare of actually dreaming in Zoom after spending all day in Zoom. Relatable. Debbie also wants to know about the pluses and minuses and challenges of working on Zoom.
Would someone who hasn't spoken like to take this question?
Yes.
I can speak to that a little bit. I'm interning at Central Square Theater right now, which was kind of crazy that my internship kind of like got shifted a lot. And we've seen a lot of opportunities though. We had auditions over Zoom, we had some callbacks over Zoom, and it kind of lets you connect with people in a different way theatrically, I think, that you might not have gotten the opportunity to connect with before. And like, I know for me personally with this, I don't know if I would have like had this opportunity to participate with Catalyze if it weren't for Zoom. So like, that's been kind of cool with everything going on.
One thing I noticed is, so I've done a reading with Catalyze once before, and I did not have stage fright performing on Zoom the way I did in front of an in-person live audience.
One of the challenges that I've worked with Catalyze a couple of times, and I've done a lot of readings and radio theater, but I also do a lot of regular theater. And one of the big challenges I have with readings is I always want to look at the person that I'm talking to. And you really need to be looking at the audience. And Zoom solves that problem for you entirely because you're looking just at your script that's directly above the person that you're talking to. So I actually found it easier to do a reading under these circumstances than I have doing them live, which surprised me. I didn't think that was going to happen. I don't know if I'd feel the same way if I'd had a more emotionally demanding part than the one that I had. I had a relatively small part, so there was less of a connection to be made anyway, especially since I figured out that she was a bot immediately because I was so much smarter than everyone else in the play.
I would say the only thing for me is because you're so much closer, I felt like Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights when he's like raising his hands up and he's like, what do I do with my hands? But I felt that way with my eyes because I feel that you're like right on me, that I'm like looking at the little green dot, but then I have to go back to reading. And I'm like, if I do that too much, so like you have to tell that part of your brain to be like, be quiet. But you're very preoccupied with where your eyes are, which is not as much, which is one of my bottom problems on stage.
Angela, I saw your hand up. Oh, or Chris, then Angela.
Something that I thought was really well done, especially in the second play, was that you can really introduce a new element to it, where I don't, on stage, you're not necessarily getting that screen on, screen off, screen on, screen off, getting that direct interaction between the bot and, boy X. And I also thought it was great that in our play that we could use the beach background to really show a visual representation from what exactly was happening in this virtual world. So definitely, and hats off especially to the second group to be able to choreograph that on and off. That I know from especially seeing the practices happening earlier today, that even that was, you guys got that down really well, really fast. So props.
Okay. Moving on, unless anybody has anything else. Okay. From Heidi/Helena again. Kitty, how did you prepare for this role?
How did I prepare? So something that was funny to me is that I have as an actress, I have a go-to crepey voice that is gravelly like this, and they are Southern. And it started with me playing with the phrase, you got a purty mouth. And it has sort of, over several years, developed into a grander character. So I took that character that I keep in my back pocket, in my toolkit of actors' things, and I was told specifically by Gillian not to use the Southern accent. So the preparation from about 4 o'clock till 8 o'clock was ridding myself of the Southern accent. So creating the caricature over many years very slowly, and then attempting to rid myself of the accent and lean heavily into a fairly popular stereotype that can be found in nature as exhibited by the single cis male, frequently white, not always. So it was a natural process, although it is not a natural character for me per se.
Kitty, I thought it was delightful. Thank you for taking my suggestion. I appreciate that very much. You are very kind. So a question from William L. This is the first Zoom play. This is my first Zoom play, and it was pretty awesome. Definitely made my night. Do you have any future plays planned, or do you know any other connected groups doing similar things? Catalyze is definitely looking to plan to do another series in the future through Zoom. After we wrap tonight, our next meeting is probably going to involve sort of talking about that. In the chat, I've plugged a few groups who are doing Zoom performances, including the Boston Theater Marathon, Flat Earth Theater, which is, they just had their first episode, by the way, of Fine-Tuned Universe at 7 p.m., and they'll be doing a new episode every day until May 30th.
I think every Saturday.
Oh, every
Flutter.
Saturday. Thank you.
But the Boston Theater Marathon will go on every day at noon East Coast time. And I have to say that Flat Earth, I've watched a lot of the Boston Theater Marathon plays, and Flat Earth did, I think, one of the best that I've seen. So they're really worth tuning into, especially if you like sci-fi shows.
So we're coming up on 9 o'clock, and I think we have time for one more question. A few people already asked about having to rehearse over Zoom, but I'm curious about the scripts. Were these all written in the past 6 weeks? Or were any of the scripts, particularly the first one, changed significantly for Zoom? And we already touched a bit on this, but if anybody has any thoughts to add.
We could end on the tree question.
Let's end on the tree question.
Yes. Let's see. Oh, the backstory sounds really nerdy. So I was just reading a lot about tree bacteria because trees have these crazy symbiotic relationships with fungi, and then also reading about computer simulations at the same time. And somehow the idea for this play had come out of an economics class, because deaths of despair is actually a term in econ to describe the rising suicide rates, particularly among sort of middle class, lower middle class Americans in the heartland. And so to also answer the last question, I was trying to capture a couple different demographic groups that are particularly prone to suicide or to self-harm. And so the trees because trees just don't do stuff like that. Trees are really straightforward and they're super collaborative and they just share their nutrients. And like when one tree gets some sort of illness, and if it knows it's going to die, it'll send all of its nutrients out to its other neighboring trees, along with warnings of how to protect themselves.
Trees are the best.
Trees are great.
Trees are awesome. So we're at 9:01. I wanted to thank all of our actors for coming tonight, all of our writers for working with us, and everybody, all the attendees, everybody for coming. I took a screen cap when I saw that we had at one point 65 attendees. What? Y'all, what? Thank you so much for coming. Recording will be made available on our Facebook event page, or our Facebook page. And thank you all for coming, and have a lovely Saturday night.